Good evening, everyone. I'm Dee Humphreys, and we're going to talk about some edible weeds tonight. But the thing I want to do mostly is actually show you the weeds that are three things. One, super abundant in your environment, here where we live. Secondly, ones that taste really delicious. And thirdly, ones that you can identify quite readily. So at the end of this evening, you may be thinking to yourself, why didn't she cover that one, and that one? And it's because you might realise that it actually looks quite similar to some other weeds, and I want you to be able to walk away very confident that the ones that we talked about this evening can go into your salads, your stews, your green smoothies, anything that you want, your soups, etc., and you won't be able to get the wrong identification. So that's really number one priority tonight, is to do all the weeds that you can't misidentify later. With this in mind, I learned to identify every single weed that I eat, and I put at least 11 into my salad for breakfast and dinner every single day through this book alone. Now, quite a few people come for garden tours to learn about edible weeds at our place, and they often bring this book along, but I find that this was written in New South Wales or somewhere else, and it has a few of ours, but not all of them, whereas this one here by Isabel Shepard has all the weeds in our local environment, and if I could learn from the pictures in here, so can you. So that's something you could fall back on later. I'm really reluctant to go through every health aspect of every single weed that we cover because we could be here for the rest of our natural lives. So what I wanted to say to you, just to be really aware of, is why would you include these greens into your diet? So it would strengthen your immune system, it would make you feel healthier and more vibrant, it would lessen your pain and inflammation, it's going to assist in your cell rejuvenation, and it's going to promote your general well-being. So everyone wants that. And then here's the big kicker, there's no effort, they're in your garden anyway. And the other thing is, and I want you to really think about this, they're a healing gift from Mother Nature, our planet's keeper. So with that in mind, we should start embracing these guys rather than spraying them. So let's do the first one. Now, we've got to talk to the camera. So the first one is Cedar retusa. It's a two-named word, cedar and then retusa. Now, the easy identification with this one, they're numerous, but the first one is when you find a small version of it in your garden, and she might look something like that, she's going to be near on impossible to pull out. So the way that I say it, I say when you go to pull her out, you're going to end up with rope burn. And so I always call her the rope burn weed, and most people go, aha, I know which one you mean. There's only really one that gives you full-on rope burn in your garden. She'll start off quite small like this. Starting to think I need to move things so you can see it against a white background. There we go. She'll start off really small like this, and she can develop into quite a large bush, like sort of a shrub. The other giveaways for her are that she has these little yellow flowers, and that she has these little seed pods that I always refer to when they dry off as chocolate cupcakes. So if you've got a weed in your garden that has yellow flowers and gives you rope burn when you pull it out, and has these little chocolate cupcakes when it's dried, then that's Cedar retusa. My favourite thing about this weed is its leaves, which is what you're going to be eating, and you can eat them raw. I'll tell you if you need to cook them in any of the demonstration this evening. So these are all raw in our salad each day. These leaves are absolutely delicious, so they have no real flavour. They're really soft on the palate. I always call them silky to the palate. They're really beautiful, and they buffer salad. So if you've got some strong weeds in your salad, you can put heaps and heaps of these guys in to buff it. So that's Cedar retusa. If I've got time, I'm happy to go through 1,000 things, or maybe I should just read some of them. I'm just going to read a few things each time. Okay, Cedar retusa, the leaves are 7% protein, remedy for diarrhea, respiratory ailments, gastric ulcers, inflammation, irritation of the alimentary canal, and lots more. Let's go on to the next one. Farmers' Friends. I know a lot of you have heard me say that Farmers' Friends are edible, but a lot of you are not eating them still. So Yes, bad people. So the first giveaway with Farmers Friends, or Cobbler's Pegs is its other name, are the pegs. And you know those black pegs because they stick to you. And even though I tried to bring in numerous of them tonight, they stuck to everything along the way and there are none left. But it has a little yellow flower, it has the pegs, and the pegs are actually edible. They're not the nicest things. They taste like nothing, but they're hard like cardboard. So what I do is I mix them with papaya dried seeds and nasturtium dried seeds, and I smash them with my stick blender, and that gives you a pepper that you've made just from your garden. But the identifier is really the pegs, and when you want to use them, I've wrapped these guys all up, it's nice to use a young'un, like a young plant like this, because when you start out eating weeds, they're the ones that are going to have the most luscious flavour. So when they're ready to pegs, you can still use them, but I always pick the lush ones when I'm having people round for dinner who haven't eaten weeds before. So that's Farmers Friends or Cobbler's Pegs. Oh, a few things about him quickly. Diuretic for dysentery, diarrhea, respiratory conditions, toothache, antibacterial, against streptococcal, dental pathogens, it kills gallstones, gout, urinary tract infections it helps with. It has over 90 other things it'll help you with. So let's just stick to identification as the core part of the demo. The next one is going to be pink shamrock. The giveaway for her is that she has, weeds don't like to be pulled out and stored for a couple of hours. She has these lovely heart-shaped leaves. Some people would see them as being similar to clover. So that's what she looks like. Her flowers are normally open and they're a lovely pink colour. So if you've got these sorts of clover-like leaves alongside the flowers, which are little pink, beautiful little flowers, then you've got pink shamrock on your hands. Now, it's a sort of ground cover. I mean, it doesn't take off in one direction, but it sort of clumps, and it's a weed, so it'll do it naturally. The leaves and the flowers are beautiful in a salad and anything else you want to cook them in, and they taste just like lemons. So rather than squeezing lemon over your salad, throw a whole lot of these guys in. I don't know many people who don't like lemon in their salad. Pink shamrock, let's see. It's from the oxalis family. Its ability to speed up wound healing through eating it orally. So all of the oxalis family will do that. If you've got wounds, if you eat it orally, it really helps with that. Anti-cancer, cardio-relaxant, antioxidant properties, antibacterial, contains high vitamin C and lots more. So we'll just move forth. The next one is nodding top. Now, another name she has is thickhead, which is not very nice, so we just call her nodding top. Before I knew her name, I knew she was edible. This was about 14 years ago. And she's got such a beautiful flower. It's kind of red. And I used to call her tubular bell for reasons I can't explain. So don't call her thickhead. Let's just call her nodding top. What happens with her flowers is they end up being a puffball. And my hubby only ever asked me to pull some of them out when our pool starts getting covered in them. So we eat them all the time, but sometimes the puffballs get very excitable and they fly everywhere and the pool gets covered, and it's time to pull a few of them out. Now, the leaves are absolutely beautiful, so let's show you some fresh-looking leaves. In a salad or anything else you want to do, they're really scrumalicious. But as far as I know, we don't eat the flowers. They would be quite dry. So that's nodding top. She's lovely. Okay, she will help with indigestion, headaches, fresh wounds, nose bleeding, sleeping sickness, antioxidant, protective effect on liver, anti-inflammatory, show to inhibit cancer cells. I said I wouldn't read them all. Tumours, anti-inflammatory pathways, and inhibits melanomas. Lots more. Okay, the next one. Now remember, Mother Nature provided these for you, but she didn't just provide them for your belly, she provided them for the soil. So have that in the back of your mind the whole time. These all help build the soil for you. This one here is called blue top or billy goat weed. When we first moved to the Garden of Eden, I always never understood the name because I think they look purple. So I used to always say, it's purple top, not blue. But anyway, its name is blue top or billy goat weed, and it has these puffy things. They're not a puffball. They don't fly off like the nodding top does, but they keep pretty tight. The flowers, as far as I know, are not edible, but the leaves definitely are. So before it gets to this phase, when it's looking something like this, that's when you would pluck all of her leaves and put them into your salad. They're absolutely beautiful and lush normally. So I went out of my way to get these ones that have finished with their life cycle normally, because I wanted to be able to show you some identifying features. So that's that's blue top or billy goat weed. By the way, we had goats at the farm, and I've got to say that they didn't prefer that more than any of these other ones. So I'm not really sure why they call it that, but anyway. Some quick ones for that one: remedies for fevers, ticks and insects bites, and a million other things we need to keep moving forward. So wandering dew. Now, wandering dew is one of my faves because you guys don't like it. So this one's beautiful. It tastes like nothing. So it tastes like water. The leaves are usually always lush and fantastic. It has a little blue flower. I tried to bring one, but they close up in the evening, so I can't really see it. Tiny little blue flowers. Most of you will know wandering dew. And we just pluck it like this, pop it in our salad every single day. You can buff a salad. If you made a salad purely from that and added normal salad ingredients and no other greens, you would love the taste and flavour of that salad. It doesn't have a strong flavour at all. And the blue flowers can also go into that salad. I do need to warn you, if you own a dog like a Staffy, they're not going to love this weed. It gives them real belly itches. So you'll see when you go into the vet clinics, they have weeds to avoid for your animals, and wandering dew is right up there with the best of them. Staffies do not like it, and many other animals are a little bit itched by it, let's say, stressed out. Okay, wandering dew. Applied topically for boils, burns, bites, carbuncles. I put that in there because I love saying it. Great for mouth ulcers, respiratory and urology infections, edema, dysentery, urinary problems, and lots more. Okay, the next one I'm going to talk to you about, she's one of my favourites for sure, is weed amaranth. So let's show you the seed top and you'll know why she gets the amaranth name. Hold on, sideways on, there we go. So she has this amaranth top to her, and instead of it being bright red or bright yellow, it's just a normal greeny colour. Some books call it green amaranth instead of weed amaranth, but it's definitely a weed. Now, the leaves and the seeds are all edible, and we use a lot of the leaves in our salad because they're beautiful, and we use a lot of the seeds if we're not having friends over for dinner. So if you're delivering a salad that has 40 odd greens in it like we do every day, and 11 of them are weeds, and your friends find all these little bits in the salad, they're going to be driving home saying, that was great, but I didn't really like the soil in there. But it's not the soil, it's the seeds. So be kind to yourself, don't include the seeds if you've got friends coming over. The other great thing to do, seeing as though the seeds are about 38% protein, so stop killing animals if you want to and turn to these guys, is you can put those into your green smoothies, you can put them into your drinks, you can put them into your blenders, whatever you like, because really high protein in those seeds. And I wrote something down about that little seed. So the health aspects, for example, for this is naturally rich, gluten-free, easy digested and not so allergenic as most cereal grains. The seeds are up to 38% protein with 8 essential amino acids and lysine, valued for relieving pain, candida, arthritis, asthma, improving memory, reducing spread of tumours, and lots more. I just chose a few things to talk about. So that's weed amaranth. Now, this little one I used to love at the farm when she came up. So just so you know, when we moved from the farm to Noosa, we've got a tiny suburban backyard there, and I want these weeds in my diet and I want them in the garden. So I went to all the local parks and I would just grab them and sprinkle them around, and grab Nodding Top and throw her around the garden, and Blue Top she hasn't taken very well. But all the others have, so that's fantastic. Brought heaps of cobbler's pegs in, threw them around. So I reseeded the garden to get that health back. But one of the few that I haven't been able to keep going is this one, and it's sheep sorrel. Now, sheep sorrel doesn't last all year round. She tends to come up in a garden when it's been raining in a little wet patch, and then she'll spread. And I always used to call her the little diggers. I think you'll be able to see her there. She looks like little shovels, and it is a small leaf just naturally. So it sort of clumps. It tastes beautiful, tastes just like lemons, and so you can put a whole lot, like I would literally just cut all of those off, sprinkle those in my salad, and include that green into my diet. Sheep sorrel I've planted into my garden twice now. I actually purchased this from Yandina Community Gardens again recently because it's not so easy to seed it otherwise. So sheep sorrel can be good for numerous things, but it's a blood purifier, powerful antioxidant, good for the kidneys, bladder, circulation, stimulates digestion, kills viruses, and lots more. The next one I want to show you, I sent my husband out this afternoon around 3 o'clock because I couldn't find Amelia. She's normally in our garden, but I realised it because her flower was starting to close. So Amelia is a dainty little creature. Think Amelia as in a girl's name. Now I'm parking her flat because that's about the size that she is, and on the top she has this little pink flower, and it's sort of a little bushy flower, I guess, and that usually is the giveaway that you're dealing with Amelia. Now I mention her because she'll be in your garden, but she's one of the only ones on the table that has a bitter flavour that I've brought in today, and it's just because she randomly parks herself around a garden, and if you include such a small amount of bitter in your diet, it won't be offensive. Now, her entire plant is edible. The leaves, the roots, the flowers can be eaten raw or cooked, and I told you it's a little bit bitter, and it's used for a diuretic and expectorant, can lower your blood pressure, treat diarrhea, and loads more. Going straight on to the next one, this one's always misdiagnosed, if there's such a word. So this one is blackberry nightshade. It is not, what do you guys like to call it? Deadly nightshade. Totally different, but not really. So the giveaway for this one, and that's why I brought it in, is because it's got these little seeds. I'm going to separate them because it's quite hard to see on the video this evening from where I'm standing. So she's got these seeds and they tend to cluster. Now the green ones are poisonous, but the half green ones that are turning black are still poisonous. So you have to go for a seriously black one, and the only one that we hadn't eaten over the last few days was this poor example here. So you're looking for completely black seeds. If they're not blackberries, do not eat them. Okay? Now the next thing is that it has a white flower, whereas deadly nightshade has a purpley sort of flower. So if they've got those, they'll have some flowers on, and the flowers are white. You're looking for white flowers and blackberries. And I wrote a little bit about this because this guy always gets a bad rap. So his leaves are eaten right across the planet, from Asia, Nepal, Hawaii and Madagascar. Loads and loads of leaves can be made into anything you like. Medicinal, anti-herpes, gastric ulcers, prevents epileptic seizures, anti-inflammation, for kidney and bladder, heartburn, conjunctivitis, ulcers, cancerous tumours, etc., stops fevers, diarrhea, reduces blood pressure, and so forth. So that's our blackberry nightshade. So those are all the ones that I've brought this evening because they can't be confused with anything else. That was my main aim, that they were tasty. In your local environment, you were going to find at least 5 of these when you get home, unless you're a sprayer, and that they are really tasty. And hopefully if you remember those bits, you'll know all the different parts that you can eat of these beautiful friends of ours that Mother Nature gifted us. And is there any question in particular, or I will leave you in peace? Not that I know of. So if you looked into it, maybe, but as far as I know, not. Yeah, he was asking about the blue top or the billy goat weed, this one here. Also, I can't imagine it would be that nice on the palate, to be honest with you, but they might be. Any other questions? No? Okay, thank you so much. Make sure you eat your weeds.